Hello, everyone, and welcome to Junior Grand Prix number 2. I'm your host, Ted Barden, and Mark Hanratty will be joining me from his home in Nottingham. Now, a little earlier today, we saw the men's short program, and now we move on to the first pair event on the Junior Grand Prix this season. There are 10 teams coming from 9 nations. Now, each of the disciplines in our sport requires unique skills, and pairs is a perfect example of that. So let's get started. The pairs short program begins right now. Hello everyone, welcome to Linz, Austria, day number 1 of competition, second Junior Grand Prix, as we have a flyover of the facility here, the ice arena, just on the banks of the Danube, and the hotel is very close as well. What a wonderful setup it is here. I've been here 4 times now and enjoy the Junior Grand Prix on this site immensely as we look live at the building, the pairs event about to start, as we take a look at the officials for this event. Mark Hanratty joined me from his home, his studio, his garage in Nottingham. Mark, welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you, Ted. Excited to see the start of the pairs event on the whole series, and great to see that we have 10 teams here, and hopefully this discipline continuing again to grow and resurge. And we saw an amazing insight into the development of pairs even within one season. Obviously we've spoken about the fact there were fewer pair teams of late, but I think things on a resurgence of hope.
Yeah, it's great. And as I was watching, not knowing the teams that were coming into this event, you know, we were wondering what would we see, what standard will we see. We're going to take a look at that, obviously, right off the bat, as we take a look at group number, or the start order, pardon me, for the junior pair short program. And saw some really nice talent as well, and some developing young teams as well in this group. But having 10 teams, a good number to start with. I think, you know, we've had some events where we have only 6 teams or 7 teams, so it's nice to see 10 teams here in Linz.
Yeah, completely agree. And teams from different skating nations, different continents. So there's a real positive hope then, no matter what number we have now, that these skaters will then again go on and become coaches and then facilitate more teams as the sport redevelops itself almost.
And what you'll be watching here in the pair short program, you'll see 7 elements, technical elements that will be performed. A twist lift, you'll see that as the man throws the woman into the air and she twists above him. Double axe or solo jumps, you'll see a lift as well, and you'll see a throw jump where the gentleman will lift, or throws, maybe too strong of a word, assist, if you will, the woman into the jump, and they're usually quite big, of course, and then a combination spin, a step sequence, and a death spiral will include the 7 elements. It could be, of course, in any order the team wishes to perform them.
And interesting that the solo jump for the juniors, as you see quality double axel there by the team on the screen, it can be double axel, the harder of the 2 options, or double lutz. And interesting that the lutz jump is created by an Austrian, seeing as we're in Austria now, Alois Lutz, and it was first performed in 1913.
So there is Inspector Hanratty at his best. And as you actually drive into Linz here, you see a big building that has Lutz. I'm not sure what they make there, but Lutz, I think, is not maybe a common name, but you see it more often here, of course, in Austria or this part of the world.
Yeah.
And there is the twist. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say that's when I definitely get picked up on my Scottish accent. So to me it's a Lutz, but I understand for the rest of the world it's a Lutz, so I can't help it, I can't change it.
No, I think you're right. It's, you know, it's
okay.
I don't know, it sounds better. It sounds more, I don't know, romantic. Lutz, I don't know.
You need to ask the Austrians on site if it's Lutz.
You know, there's so many, whether it's a name or whether it is an element, there are so many different pronunciations because of the emphasis of a particular language. So, and we use English, of course, but there are very many different versions of English.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we see the fans in the stands cheering their teammates on. Pairs event, good to get that underway. Love this pairs discipline. I always think it's a discipline that's a little underappreciated. I said in my opening there that every discipline takes special skills of these athletes, and this is a perfect example. There's not many, perhaps, women that would love to be thrown or twisted in the air or thrown away. I mean, you know, it's just remarkable what the woman does in this discipline. And the man has to be so sturdy and steady underneath, of course.
I couldn't agree more, and I think maybe it's because it's a discipline I didn't do, but my respect for, I think we assume perhaps respect more so for the female because arguably she has the greatest risk, but equally on the backside of that, as much as the female has to have nerves of steel and a level of gumption that's hard to comprehend, the man too then has a huge amount of responsibility in his hands and in his arms, and so that too requires a certain level of courage beyond measure.
Yeah. Well, they have just 3 teams on the ice for the warm-up in this group. Of course, you wouldn't have any more than 4 pair teams, but the pairs are pretty good because they know the patterns of the teams, and every element takes a length of a rink to pretty much prepare for it. So you sort of read it well. Unlike in ice dance, where the dancers are weaving and twisting and all around, and you're never quite sure where the team is going. We see more potential and near collisions in a warm-up session. You do not see that very often. Touch wood here. You do not see that very often in the pair discipline. As I mentioned, the pairs take a long time to set up.
And the pair tracking, the patterns for the pair are so established, and I think although it's daunting to train on the ice with any pair teams because their elements are so massive, you know where they're going more likely. So I think that's why you can combine pairs and singles more than you can with the dancers who just get in the way all the time.
And there we saw a triple twist coming straight down the ice and taking a good piece of the rink to set that up. Now remember, these are junior pair teams, so you'll see the elements, but you will not see the speed of which the seniors will perform, both in lifts and throws and just general ice coverage. So this discipline is very, very dangerous to a certain degree, so you have to be a little bit more, in building a pair team, a little bit more careful, take your time, and make sure they slowly build to the speed when they have confidence and security in these elements. So generally speaking, although these skaters can skate fast, I think they're just being brought along at the right pace, if you will, of development to make sure that they're not in dangerous situations.
And we've tried to respect and acknowledge the work of the coaches in the men's short program that started the proceedings, but not that any coach is more important, but I think you're right in acknowledging that there are many elements within the pairs discipline which almost can't be trained outside of lesson time. They really do need the eyes, ears, and brain space of the coach on
Absolutely.
site.
Coaches in pair skating have to be very calculated with every element in how they teach it, and then how they train it, and then how they reveal it. As we take a look at the first team getting prepared for their announcement in the pair short program from Canada, Ariana Kent and Charlie Lelibete Laurent. She's 16, he is 18 years old. This is their first season together, just kind of a new team. Pretty exciting team as well. Coached by Marc-Andre Craig. And they're going to skate. I'm going to be.
Well, I hope Charlie Liberté Laurent will laugh in hindsight at that fall and a simple, fun, quirky piece of the choreography that was incredibly simple for them after nailing so many of the elements.
Well,
because this is a bright future for this team.
You saw them. You saw him kind of smile as he got up. It was really unexpected. He had done a lot of the difficult elements. The throw triple loop was already there, and they were sort of getting into the performance and zoom, you know. And so, yeah, a bit of a surprise fall for sure. But a really nice young team coming into the Junior Grand Prix. Some beautiful qualities. I love the checkout of her throw. There's the twist, not a split. That is in at a level 3, so drop just missing that split feature. Here are the double axles, some brackets going in, and they land them both quite nicely. Good extension. Here's the group 3, hand to hip lift, difficult entry, reverse direction, rotation, 1 full rotation, change of position, change of hold, and then difficult dismount here. So that is in at a level 4. And here is the throw triple loop. Watch the free leg, the left leg right here, push back so quickly to stabilize that landing. So beautifully done.
And they're such a new team. He, the Canadian novice men's pairs champion last year with a different partner. She competed juniors. Been so successful already in what they're delivering at this stage so early in the development.
Well, sometimes two people get together and it's just magic, and this team came together very, very quickly. And as Skate Canada was reviewing and taking a look at it, they said, "Whoa, we've got a good team here." You know, it just takes timing, really, in some cases, and it certainly has happened for this team so far, anyways, early on in their career.
And actually, you know, it'd be interesting to see how Skate Canada manages the team, because they're age eligible for seniors as well, and potentially they've got the qualities to do that in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I think they'll continue on junior for a while. We'll see what happens. 53.67 as they set the standard as the first team out in the pair short program. Nice job. Our next team comes from Spain, Linda de Nardin and Patricio Romano Rossi Lopez. She's 14, he is 20 years old, coached by Seren Kiefer. Don't have the music. Oh, there it is. Hold back on River.
Excellent reaction to the skate for Linda De Nardin and Patricio Romano Rossi Lopez. Interesting to see a team who naturally rotate in different directions, but they did a brilliant job with it. I thought the pairs combination spin at the end, or the combination spin at the end, was really well done.
It was really good. The program was relatively simple because I think that's the stage that they're at. But everything they did was well done. It was good quality. Here's the twist. Watch the split. Good split there. Good catch as well. That comes in a level 3. Just a double twist, but a level 3. Well done. There's the double lutzes in opposite direction. This is always a bit of a challenge. It's hard for judges to see when they're so far apart. Here is the group 3 lift, hand to hip. And this is in a level 3. So missing one of the features. There's the change, hold, and the dismount. Yeah, just 3 features on that. And then the throw double loop. This was really well done. It's more simple, but clean. Good extension on the landing there. Good flow as well. Here is the different rotation directions and the change combination spin. Good positions by both. And you don't see, it's just different looking because they both rotate different directions. No, not, absolutely not. And a little far apart here, but that's okay. This is the early stages of development for this team, and they did it so well here on the Junior Grand Prix. They look really happy coming off the ice.
They can maybe check out Christy Yamaguchi, Rudy Galindo, former world junior champions who managed that, as they're joined by Miriam Ziegler and Zeveran Kiefer, their coaches who they relocated to Salzburg this spring to train with. Miriam and Zeveran were 3-time Olympians, and I'm sure a huge inspiration as they now set themselves up as coaches for next generation of pair teams.
Short program score for Linda and Patricio, 38.68. And they seem pretty happy with that. Really well done. Good strategy by the coaches to give them what they're capable of doing, and great job of the skaters doing it as well as they can at this stage of their career. Our next team comes from Italy, Paulina Pullman and Gabriele Rinaldi. And they are coached by Luca De Mattei. And again, also a relatively new team. And they'll skate the short program to battle without honor or humanity.
Well, they teamed up just 10 months ago in this, their first competition ever. Polina Pullman and Gabriele Rinaldi for Italy.
Yeah, and again, it's a good example of a young team that's just getting started together, having the perfect layout of the program to execute what they're capable of doing at this stage, not trying to do anything too difficult, but trying to do everything they can do well. And here we look at the twist. This is just in at a level 1, so just getting one out of the 4 features. The double axels are pretty well done, as we see right in here. As they set this up with some change of edges, there's the double axel leap up, landing at the same time. That was good. And then the throw double loop. Good flow on that. Nice, strong landing position for Polina. Good flow as well. You don't see a lot of snow on the turns of Gabriele. He was very smooth, very steady. And that is that Group 3 lift level 2, so missing 2 features there. Forward inside death spiral, that's in level 1, but you can see the mechanics of it are really strong.
And the team, as they're joined by Luca D'Amati and the Kiss and Cry, train in Bergamo with 8 other senior teams, so, and world medalists indeed. So with Coach Luca, with the other team there, they're in an environment which, should they maintain, you know, a good working relationship, you would believe is designed to see them successful in the senior ranks as well over time.
Oh yeah, no, you've mentioned this several times. To be surrounded by skaters that are better than you is another teacher, because you're learning by watching. And not only just on the elements, but you're learning by the attitude perhaps, or by the training consistency that they provide. 39.07 for Polina and Gabriele. That will put them currently into 2nd place. And they look pretty happy with that performance and score at this stage of their very, very young career. They got to work on that fist pump, though. There we go. So now we get ready for the next 6-minute warm-up. After we see the start order there, we'll take a look at another series. The schedule is coming up on the Grand Prix after the Junior Grand Prix. And this will finish in the middle of October, of course. And there it is. Oh, these are the championships, sorry. These are the ISU championships. The first one will take place in January. And Kaunas, Lithuania, and that's an interesting story because Budapest had said, no, they cannot produce that. And it went to as a process in Kaunas, which is a beautiful little university town in Lithuania. So the European Championships will be there. ISU Four Continents will happen in Shanghai, China. That'll be in January 29th, February 4th. The ISU Junior World Championships will be in Taipei City, February 26th to March 3rd. And of course, the granddaddy of them all, the ISU World Championships in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, March 18th to 24th. You won't want to miss that, that's for sure.
Exciting. Now as we look at the British team competing here, we're mid-Olympic cycle. It'll be exciting to see after the Junior Grand Prix Series what happens with the seniors as they vie towards the Winter Olympics in Italy in 2026. So the split twist.
The twist is an awkward element to learn in the very beginning because the man, as you saw there, wants to continue to turn or feels the need to turn as he throws her above his head. You don't want to turn more than that half turn from backward to forward. And sometimes you get over-rotated or you get in front of her or at least beside her. It's just an awkward feeling and it's hard to trust. And here we go. I think they're taking the lead here in the cheerleading. My gosh.
Okay, well, I think that's Eliana Peel, the American junior ice dancer who will compete tomorrow.
That's got to be
a day off.
Mark, that's an ice dancer. Totally an ice dancer. Holy moly.
Taking any moment to shine, those ice dancers.
They're going to have to talk to our Canadian team to step it up. They did a good job a little earlier today as well. A lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And the interesting thing about, pair skating, I always felt that the perfect marriage of ice dance and pair skating, you can see that in some of the teams, Shui Han and okay, world champion.
Wei Jing, Sui, and Han.
Yeah. Sorry.
2022 Olympic champions.
Yeah, there we go. They are the perfect marriage of, I think, of sort of dance and pairs, because they told a story and so beautiful. It was a pairs discipline, which is acrobatic and powerful and dynamic and risky and all that. At the same time, you never lost feel of their story and their artistry. It was just beautiful. But it's so difficult to do. You don't see it that often in pair skating. It takes a special team, a special relationship, some great choreography, and so pair skating's hard. Those elements take a long time to set up, less time to really build a story.
And it's interesting, we see in the ice dance discipline that World Championship success on the senior stage is so often built upon a decade's worth of time. And we see athletes, as a generalization in ice dance, last longer into their later 20s than in the singles discipline. And the argument somewhat could be that the physicality of the singles can punish the bodies a little bit too much to compete for multiple seasons. Pairs has that immense physicality, but also it needs the, as you say, the development of a partnership over multiple seasons like the ice dancers do. So it's just a cross mix of both, and that's what makes it so amazing when done well, but so challenging. And
it's interesting. I mean, if you lined up 20 people and you talked to them, could you determine which of the disciplines they were in? I would be very interested to do that, because I think you could pick out a pair skater based on perhaps body language or how they answer a question. And then you can pick out an ice dancer as well, because there are different passions, I would suppose, and different thrills that they have in their performance. So they're different, not different people, but they have different makeup for each one of these disciplines.
Yeah. Well, the last couple that we've just seen, the Italians, Polina Palma and Gabriele Rinaldi, their coach Luca had explained to me that that singles was boring. They're both far happier to be in the pairs discipline, which is they're obviously the ultimate for them as pair skaters, and yet there are single skaters that will say to you, oh my goodness, I would never even dream of doing the pairs discipline. And it's great that we've got those outlets for different types of human in our discipline, in our sport.
Absolutely, and synchronized skating as well, of course. So, yeah, no, we're very lucky to have that, but distinctly different makeup or personality traits in the different disciplines.
It's great that you mentioned synchro, because synchro, again, a completely different team ethos as well, and that can really warm to so many different types of human who do not want to be out there on a 60 meter by 30 meter ice surface standing alone in front of a panel of judges.
And when you break down the discipline of synchronized skating, you realize how difficult it is. The problem is you see 16 skaters out on the ice and they're performing, and it's really wonderful, but if you break it down to the small little space that a skater has to perform in unison with 15 other skaters, it is incredibly difficult. Anyways, okay. Here we go. We're in pairs right now. Pair short program, group number 2, and let's get started. We're going to ramble on here. But the disciplines are all unique. Our next team comes from China. 15-year-old Yunji Wang and 18-year-old Helen Liu. Now they don't have an international junior Grand Prix competitive record, so this is their first time out. They're coached by Bo Luan. As they'll skate the short program in their very first junior Grand Prix event.
Yunjie Wang and Helen Yu from China, 15 and 18 years old respectively, complete their first Junior Grand Prix experience. And fascinating, Ted, that their coach, Bo Luan, was one half of the first ever pair team to represent China at the World Championships.
Yeah, it's interesting. This team, again, you can see clearly they are just a young team developing some of their skills here. As we take a look at the twist, it's in at a level 2, so have 2 out of the 4 features. And we see double Lutz is a more simple element. They have the choice of the axle or the Lutz, and that's a wrapped up, under-rotated perhaps double Lutz. We'll see. Here's the toe triple loop, though. That's pretty good. Watch the 2-foot landing right here. Both feet hit the ice at the same time, so there'll be a reduction in the minus GOE of that. So a few points just removed from the base value. And that left. You can watch the scratchiness of the turns. There's just some quality issues there, but that, not to be critical, that's just more analytical about where this team is at from a development perspective. And Spread Eagle coming into a difficult entry in the forward inside death spiral. It is in at a level 2. Let's watch right there. Is that on the boot there? I'm not sure. It looks right there, touches the boot, but it's hard to tell from this angle. But, you know, good start. The team did the best they could with the elements that they have in the stage of development they're at.
And the time division in training, they've got to obviously fundamentally work on their own individual skill sets. We can see individually they both require stronger skating skills, but then obviously there's so much time that needs to be devoted to learning the absurdity of a split twist, which in itself is an element that needs hours and hours and hours off the ice and on the ice.
Yeah, if you put into a board all the things that have to be learned and where the team is at, there's going to be a huge list of we need to improve skating skills, we need to get up a line, a little bit more speed. There's a lot of work to do. That's why it takes so many years. Let's take a look at the scores. 34.93, and that'll put Yunjie and Helen currently into 4th place. And there is a look at the top 4 teams so far in this event. Our next team comes from Great Britain. Lucy is 18. Kyle is 20. Second Junior Grand Prix season. Junior national champions are coached by Simon Briggs. 29.41, their personal best in the short program. Skating to Conquest, skating to Gdansk for me, Wallace.
Lucy Hay and Cal McLeod from Great Britain. An interesting testament to the hardiness and strength and resilience of the pair skaters. Lucy had a fall. She required 3 stitches in her chin as the British team cheer her on. Just recently, she had to replace her boots this past week because the old ones collapsed. And yet, no sign of that. Vastly improved in their speed and ice coverage since we last saw them on the Junior Grand Prix last year.
Yeah, no question. There's been some improvement there, and some good work on the lift that came in at level 3 by Kyle. And it's interesting. We'll see some of the elements. Here's the twist. Let's take a look. There's the split. Good split. And Kyle just stumbles a little bit there. This is in a level 1, so just getting one of the features, probably just that split. Here is a difficult entry into the group 3 lift. Gets the lift up, keeps the flow going across the ice, and starts to turn. Change of position here, change of hold. And keeps it going. And in a level 3, want to cover more ice, of course. Here's the double Lutz. That was nice. And they go a little bit in different directions here. It's like they have just a different pattern. They throw a double loop. Well done. And then I just want to talk a little bit about the pair combination spin. Mostly in juniors, the skaters will spin further apart than you would see in seniors because it's a little bit more unstable coming in as juniors, and you don't want them to skate too close in case they collide. So you separate them a little bit further as they get more experience. You start to move them a little tighter together, and you'll see in the seniors those teams spinning a lot closer.
And here they're joined by one of the coaches, David Richardson, former British champion in singles, and he's here with them now, and they've got a great support network behind them. And interesting, Ted, to see that this team had the relatively easier technical content like some of the other teams, but the components a little bit stronger, and I think that's why they will slot in above.
Well, their personal best was 29.41. They've beaten that by 10 points, 39.99. They need to be pretty happy with that score and that skate here on the Junior Grand Prix. And you can see, other than the Canadian team, the standard is pretty much similar amongst the other teams. With more to come here from the United States, Olivia Flores and Luke Wang. They're coached by Drew Meekins and Natalia Mishkatuniak, famous Russian pair skater from the past. And they'll skate to Once Upon a December.
As the teammates cheer on the successful short program for Olivia Flores and Luke Wang. And
Mark, I love
motto. Oh, go on, Ted.
I love in the step sequence the split jumps.
Oh, wasn't it fabulous?
Yeah, it was beautiful. It's just perfect with the music and well matched. And I try to capture it. We'll see whether I got it in time or not. But yeah, it was beautiful. Really like this team. It's very powerful. Strong individual single skaters as well. It's very good pair elements. And this will be a tight competition between the Americans and Canadians. We'll see how that comes out in the short program in just a little bit. But let's take a look at some of the elements. Here's the twist, split, good catch. This is in a level 2, so one feature down from the Canadian team. And here's the throw triple loop. This is great. Really nice, strong position on the landing. Watch that three-leg kickback right there. And good flow right into a spread ego. Beautifully done. Both hands up on that hip, that left hand. The right hand's on the back. Watch her flip upside down right there. Hand is in position, perfect. Goes to a one hand, different hold. And this is in at a level 4, group 3 lift. So well done. 5.54 total points for that one element. Double axel, this is a downgrade. I think I've got that here. Let's go in super slow motion. Right here, watch the landing. Right there. I didn't see, I was looking at
I think for
Luke?
Olivia.
Yeah, okay, here we go. And the forward inside death spiral, that's in at a level 2, so I see 2 features there as well. Nice and low pivot by Luke. And kind of an interesting ending. Really nice.
And Luke explained that their motto as a team is live, laugh, Luke. Obviously a combination of Olivia and Luke.
Great.
And they just, Luke replies, when they just ooze joy and excitement at being here, and their World Arena Pairs team, that the networking pairs that they work within the World Arena in Colorado Springs, acknowledging that.
There's a look, 52.02 for Olivia and Luke. They're pretty happy with that score. Nice, strong team. You take a look, they're just over a point and a half out of the lead. So it should be a really good competition in the free program. North America. Well, looks like we're going to take a break, Mark. Ice resurfacing, and what do you have for us on the video playback menu?
There's a wonderful video of Sara Conti and Niccolo Macci, a pair team who are the first Italians to win a medal at World Championships, and then followed up by the promo for Worlds next year in Montreal. And then the final video during this ice resurface break will be that of Marie-France Debreu, who was part of the Mic'd Up series, and a great insight into this amazing coach as she watches her Canadian team at the World Championships last year.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back right after this.
We always dedicate our goals, achieved our success to our angels. The favorite angel of Sarah is the father that passed away during the COVID, and he passed away right before we started to have small success. It was difficult, so we talked about it because the tension was so high. So we talked and we decided to just skate precise, skate clean, not go like so fast, just take every element home. When we finished, I watched her and I said, we made it. And then I told her, look around, everybody's standing. And she turned around and she was amazed because she saw all the crowd standing for our performance, and that's the best feeling that we could have. The feeling was, oh my God, I'm done, finally. The tension is over, thank you. When I saw 134, I was like, oh, season best. Then I saw first, and I'm like, if I'm first, I'm third. If I'm first right now, 2 couples to go, then we have bronze medal. Like boom. And then we were like, yeah. It's a dream coming true, huh? Nobody ever won a world medal for Italy. Like in 100 editions of Worlds, no one in the pair skating won a medal at World Championships. That's a great season, I think the best season that anyone can have. Coming from nothing, because we came from a 7th place in Europeans last year. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible for us. We make the history for a free time. And just happy. It's really incredible.
Have fight today was tough. To third place was tough. So we knew that every mistake could make us go 4th, so lose the medal. So we fight it, and we're happy about it.
Our angels came here to Japan to watch us and to put like 1, 3, 4, and then 3rd.
Viva l'Italia!
Et hop. Laisse aller. Reste avec elle. That's it. Avec elle. Reste en bas. 2, 3. Et... Danse, danse. C'est pas grave, danse. No worries. Tiens-toi. 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 Jambes, 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 jambes. Tiens-toi. Jambes, jambes, jambes. Et eyes. Et solide. Et tac. C'était pas mal, ils se sont battus. With the rev more in the lift, they still made the twizzles. Like, he was strong here, very strong. Testament to their training.
Yes, it is.
Good job, guys.
Nice.
Good job. See how trained you are? Super smart. Was it fun? Your first final?
Yes.
How was that?
Like any competition, once the music starts.
Let's go. Bouton automatique. C'est short competition, eh?
Oh my God, it's like, and when you skate first, you know, it's like, boom. Better and more out long instead of...
Yeah. No, man. Okay, you stayed strong.
Welcome back, everyone, to Linz, Austria. Day one of competition. Pair short program, group number 3, taking to the ice. Mark, are you there?
I am indeed, and excited to see this last and final group in the pair short. It's just so great to see pair skaters on the ice, and I'm thrilled that we've got 10 teams in this event.
Yeah, no question. We want all the disciplines to be healthy and continue to grow. And there's not a lot of countries, not a lot of clubs that actually have pair skating because, you know, it's if you have 30 kids on the ice, it's hard. You can't have a pair team on the ice, right? So it's a difficult discipline to easily bring into your operations of a club. So it has a harder time to create an environment. But it's nice here that these teams have each other to look up to, compete against. And hopefully they'll stay in this discipline as they move into senior.
It's a great point, actually. Thinking about the one rink where I coach and work, there's a new and budding pair team, but just for them, they can't justify as one team hiring expensive ice hire just for them. So as you say, they have to then train alongside ice dancers, single skaters, and just the danger factor of pairs in itself is huge, but then to throw in the mix of that a whole lot of different disciplines and different abilities can make it, that's one of the factors I think which makes it so difficult to get teams formed and ready for competition.
Yeah, and in our country with pairs, we've started a new school in one of the clubs in our area, and what they do with the younger teams is they'll put them on a single session, but they'll only do side by side. So they'll skate side by side, they'll spin side by side, they'll jump side by side, but they won't do any other, you know, death spirals or anything like that. So they try to put them into basic skill development as a single session would have as well. So it's one of the ways one can adapt, but it's not always easy.
Great to see, as we've talked about in the other disciplines, great to see Chinese representation in 2 Chinese teams. And I just think it's fascinating to see Bo Luan there, the first pairs team member for China at World Championships. And we've talked about Ben Yao so much, who's obviously created so many amazing Olympic successes for China, but good to see Bo Luan here as a coach as well.
Yeah, they look like they are creating a new generation of not just pair skating, but single skating as well, and ice dancers. They've got some really good ice dancers being developed as well. So I think that it's sort of a renewal, you know, and every federation goes through that at a time. I know in Canada, 2018, we were the Olympic team gold medalists, and we had all these great skaters, but they all retired. And so the next generation, there was a big gap, and still is. And the gap is slowly closing and improving, but it takes a recycle, if you will, and rejuvenation, if you will, of the programs, and it takes a while.
And there's a whole lot of studies as to, you know, how long does it take to make a success story in sport? And there's the idea of the 10,000-hour rule, or there's no guarantees to how long it takes to make a success story, but certainly it's a generational thing. And so when coaches are so devoted to a team of seniors, unless they've been incredibly busy working with young up-and-comers as well, then it's going to be a gap in time before you see resurgence for the next.
It's true, and, you know, federations and coaches will work with the top kids, you know, that are representing your country and doing extremely well. Who's taking care of the next set of babies that are on the ice learning those basic skills? Someone, and we talked about that, coaches that aren't famous, that aren't in the kiss and cry, that nobody knows about at all, they are the foundation of any federation by developing the next generation of young kids.
And, you know, I suppose we've got to shout out also acknowledgement to the International Skating Union, because they have been facilitating pairs development seminars that have taken place in Berlin earlier in the spring and the off season. And they, you know, everybody wants to see successful skating, and great that the ISU are creating opportunities. I saw things in the States as well, opportunities for pair skaters to train alongside one another and be inspirational to each other.
Yeah, no question. When you have some success, young skaters look up and say, I want to do that. And then it starts to success breeds success. So good to see 10 teams here. We'll see what happens to the other 3 pair events, which I believe you have pairs in Istanbul next week. And then there will not be pairs in Osaka, Budapest, and Gdansk. And then Yerevan will just have the singles and dance disciplines. Okay, do you have any more questions here, Mark? Check your phone.
Well, I think it's about time that we reach out to those that are watching and say we'd desperately love to hear from you. It's great for us to know who's watching, and I know you've acknowledged how wide the scope is. We've already had questions coming in from Portugal, as far as Portugal and further. So please do send us your questions. Contact ISU on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, and let us know what your thoughts are.
So I do have a question here. So Ted, you were promising to show some of your and Mark's performances. When can we expect that? So what we talked about is that we would mark his competition in the European Championships in what year? 1980, 90? What year was it?
1924. No, I did Europeans 2009.
2009. Oh my God. Okay, that's just recent. Okay, my performance was in 1975. So. Oh my God! So we're going to do commentary on our own performances. A lot of laughter. We're not sure where we'll do that, but only when we're together. That'll be either in Gdansk or Yerevan. So, I wouldn't say looking forward for that. It's going to be an embarrassing moment. But when you get older, when you get older, you actually just don't care. You just go whatever. It was what it was.
But hindsight is definitely a wonderful thing. If only we could relive and improve upon what we once did.
It's a little, look back in history as well. What was it like in the 70s and in the early 2000s for you?
The early, I suppose, for me, I was still, as the sport evolves, I'm one generation long. At that point, ice dancers still did compulsory dances. It's constantly evolving.
Yeah. As we take a look at the second Chinese team prepared to start group number 3. And as we mentioned, these are young developing teams, early stages. Well, it's so good to see them here. 13-year-old Wening Shi and 18-year-old Jiyu Wang from China. Their coach, as Mark had mentioned, Bo Luang. And they'll skate to China by dirty class.
Well, Fantastic choice of choreography as the Chinese ice dancers cheer from ringside just to finish the program. An amazing lift dismount that they utilized within the step sequence again later on for winning Shi and Jiyu Wang from China.
Jiyu is very aggressive in this, and I mean that in a very positive way. You know, he's into that performance. He's into the power of it. So I love the attack of the program. That was exciting, no question. And some elements were really, really well done. Let's take a look. Here's the twist. This is in level 3. There's a split. Touchdown perhaps on the exit there. It is in level 3. Here are the double axles. Let's watch the landings. That's pretty good. Not bad. Here's the throw. Double loop, no problem. Not very high, but good speed coming out. That's okay. And there's the lift. Look at the strength here. Good flow across the ice. Nice clean turns. Not too scratchy. Change of position, change of hold. A difficult dismount here. Right behind the back. Grabs the waist. And the set down. Level 4 for that group 3 lift. This was more problematic. Change combinations, but they did get level 3, but it's a minus 0.47 for quality. You can see it was out of sync, and again, it's quite far apart.
Just little things that we've touched on before is just the awareness of their shoulder blades, the awareness of their free foot extension, just that mindfulness of fundamental skating skill, which will be what separates their component scores from the likes of the North American teams who lead the field at this stage.
But good attack in this program, and you can see as both these teams are young and they have, I think this team has a little bit better basic skating skills, but they'll be around for quite a while. They change partners, who knows, in the future. 45.28, but they're in the pairs discipline now, and that'll be 3rd place for Wenning and Jiyu. And there is a look at your top 5 teams so far in the competition. Our next team comes from Germany, 15-year-old Elia Ackermann and 21-year-old Tobias Harms. Coached by Florian Just, 40.96 to personal best at the World Junior Championships last year in Calgary. And they'll skate the short to Mac the Knife.
Germany's Elia Ackermann and Tobias Harms. And this a team, Ted, that has benefited from a rule from the International Skating Union where the men and juniors can continue to compete if they're in a partnership, even if they've gone beyond the age of 21, given the new age restrictions into seniors. And wonderful to see that this team and their coach recognize the merits of sticking together rather than splitting up and forming new partnerships.
And no question, there's a look at the twists in the level 2. We've seen 2 features, and we'll look at the throw double loop here. And good, solid, basic technique there. Nice flow on that landing. Here's the group 3 lift. This is just in a level 1 because the lift comes down. Watch the right arm. As the hands change, the elbows break. That is now have to come down. That's the end of the lift when those elbows start to bend. For it inside death spiral. This is in at a level 3, so good features on that. 4 out of the 7 elements are in the minus GOE, so losing some quality scores.
Coach Florian Just in the kiss and cry with him, and I think, Ted, as we've talked about in the warm-up and we'll repeatedly reference, there was an age gap between this team, she 15, Elia 15, Tobias 21, and that's so often the case with pairs, just with their developmental stages, but they can't go into senior ranks, making sure though that they continue as a team on a long-term athlete development plan towards seniors and racking up as much experience as they can by continuing the Junior Grand Prix this year.
And I was happy to see the ISU change that rule for the benefit of this discipline, particularly, because it was sort of, nobody had sort of thought of the effect of that age change on this particular discipline. So good reaction by the ISU to take into consideration this period of time this year, this season anyways, to allow some of these teams to continue.
And we saw them last year on the Junior Grand Prix. This team competed at Junior World Championships, and although this wasn't a great skate, they looked like they are truly invested in the long term.
Yeah, no question. They're pair skaters. They want to be there. 36.79 for Elia and Tobias, and that is 7th in the short program. Our next team comes from Israel. 15-year-old Sofia and Kina, and 17-year-old Nikita Kovalenko. Not a lot of experience, solid basic skating skills and elements of performance, as I noticed in the practice sessions. Struggle with the lifts a little bit. We'll take a look as they skate the short program to forgiveness.
certainly the fastest combinations that we have seen to finish the program for Sofia Enkina and Nikita Kovalenko. And Nikita competed just last year on the Junior Grand Prix. He was 10th in Riga, and now here in a different discipline. And interesting, Ted, because obviously you could see their strength as individual single skaters, both in the spin that finished the program and in the side-by-side double axels, but this discipline requires time. And Nikita being 17 makes me think that he's quite young as a pair skater, especially new to the sport.
Yeah, the other qualities, elegant style, good skating skills, good individual solo skills. As you see the twist here, this is in just a level 2, good extensions on that exit there. You can see how good their skating skills are in these double axles as well. Good flow off the end of the edge. Nicely done. Beautiful. Good quality plus
Good
GOE. Exactly. Here's the throw triple loop. This is a little bit too far back on the landing. Right here on the heel. Can't get the free leg back out to stabilize it. But that's okay. Mechanics are really good on that. And here is the weakness, of course, at this stage, because it's, but smart. Look, he's on his toe picks a little bit. That's okay. Be safe. Be safe. In the early stages, protect your partner, get the lift done, and this will get better in time as you gain a little bit more confidence. That's, of course, the weakest element, but that's the pair element. Their individual skills, very strong. Really nice. And go.
I think you can see, Ted, that like from the throw triple loop, you can see Sophia's, I think, got experience, even in the way she holds her back there. I suspect that she's had the pairs experience that Nikita maybe hasn't had, but she's wise to pick a partner like him because he has the potential for sure. And even just as he ages, there'll be a strength that will facilitate the lifts.
I think some lovely qualities in this team, just some mileage to go and more experience on some of the pair elements, but there's some bright lights in there as well.
And they work with Evgeny Krasnopolsky, who himself an Olympian in the pairs discipline.
Well, 39.32 for Sofia and Nikita. That'll put them currently in the 5th place.
It's close.
Our final team in this parachute program. Romain Telak, 13 years old. Luca is 17. This is their very first Junior Grand Prix event. And they'll perform to Smile and Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
this a team that, although in their first junior series, has actually been together for quite some time. They competed at novice and at Cubs level, and now waiting for Roman to age into the junior category, and now she's 13. We're going to see the fruits of their hard work for a few seasons.
Yeah, it's a long journey, and the elements are to be learned, of course, but the partnership is to mature and to grow, and that just takes years and years of experience. And it starts here. Here's take a look at the twist. There's a good split. Nice catch as well in the level 2, so getting 2 of those features, catch in the split. And here comes the double Lutz. And they shift out a little bit. They get it done. And then the throw, double loop. He removes himself out of the path of his partner and assists her into the air. That was nicely done. Here's a group 3 lift. There's the difficult entry and hip. Level group 3. Change of position, change of hold.
Nice arch.
Yeah, really nice position up there. And then the change combination been right at the end. 3 of the features out of the 4. And out of the 7 elements, just 2 of them in the low minus GOE. So the other elements had a positive grade of execution, so that was good for them. And they don't have a personal best score on the Junior Grand Prix, so this score will establish their base level.
Coach listed here is Emilie Anna Telemark, so relation to Roman, not sure exactly, sister, mother, but as so often is the case, a family affair in the training.
Wow, that's a big jug of water. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, let's take a look. Short program score, 43.46 for Romain and Luca. And that'll put them currently into 4th place. They look pretty happy with that. Thrilled. We'll take a look at the final standings in the pair short program. Second event of day 1 here in Linz in week 2 of the Junior Grand Prix. I'm not sure if she's laughing or crying or
overcome.
I think they're pretty happy.
The emotional release.
As we take a look at the standings after the short program, Martina and Charlie from Canada in the lead, 53.67. Olivia and Luke from the United States, 52.02 and 45.28 for the first Chinese team, Wenning and Jiyu. So, and very tight competition in the other 2 groups, so we'll see what movement happens in the free program. So that concludes our coverage of the pair short program. Up next, just going to take a look at the time here of the women's short program that will begin local time here in Linz at 1700 hours, 5 o'clock here in Linz. The women's, oh no, that's free program, pardon me. 16:45 for the women's short program local time. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage of the Paris short program. For Mark Hanratty, I'm Ted Barton. Thank you for watching. Join us for the women's short program coming up in just a little while.